welcome to EduSearch Clinics. I am Dr. Gunjan Desai, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this brand new series of EduSearch called Patient Talks. It gives us great pleasure to launch this series on the World Cancer Day, which is an attempt of the Union for International Cancer Control or UICC to spread awareness on cancer and to create action at different levels to educate the masses regarding what is cancer, how it can be treated, why it happens, what are the symptoms when you should meet your doctor, and these all actions in turn will lead to reduction in the number of advanced cancer cases that we see in our country today. So let us dive into the digestive tract cancer awareness series of the patient talks. This is the fifth part of the digestive tract cancer awareness series, and if you have seen the first four parts by now, you already know we are discussing organ wise cancers of the digestive tract. We are not going into the specific types of cancer or the pathological types of cancer, and this is more for general awareness regarding what causes cancer, if you are at risk for cancer or not, and what are the symptoms when you should meet your doctor. So this part now deals with large intestinal cancer, and as we all know, large intestine includes colon, rectum and anus. So this is the part of the intestine which is at the rear end and which helps in formation and evacuation of stools. So that is large intestine. Now, again, just to brief you why this series, I know I am stressing on this in every video because awareness is the most important point that we want to highlight. So this series, as you all know by now, is because of all the people who die of cancer or who suffer from cancer. More than one third of these can be avoided. And how we can avoid this is by early detection. That is, you should be aware of symptoms so that you can consult your doctor immediately. And you can make changes in your lifestyle in a way that you can attempt to prevent cancer from occurring. So that is why we are doing this series. So again, like all videos, we will go into where this part is located in your body. So large intestine largely covers the entire abdomen and it is located in a C shape. So if you see a schematic of the digestive system, when you go from the food pipe, this is where the food enters, then the stomach, then the C part, small intestine. The small intestine then gives food into colon, and from colon, this is how the bolus travels and the stools are evacuated through the rectum. So this dark green part is the large intestine. If you see here, it is colon, rectum and anus. So what does this part of intestine do? This absorbs water and electrolytes and basically forms the formed stools that are evacuated routinely. So it helps us save water and electrolytes in the body. The rectum part of the large intestine or the lower part of the large intestine provides the sensation that we get, that trigger that we get, that we need to pass stools or pass gas or liquid. The large intestine helps elimination of waste, that is through the stools, and it propels the stools outward. So it is a muscular tube for stool evacuation. So these are the common functions of the large intestine. Risk factors for large intestinal cancer. Again, as I have told, risk factors can be modifiable and non-modifiable. So like all the talks, first we see the modifiable risk factors, which are smoking, obesity and alcohol. If you have noticed, these are risk factors for all the digestive tract cancers, and you will be surprised to note that these three are the most common risk factors which account for more than 40% of cancers in the human body. Again, diabetes and dietary factors such as red meat and processed or fried meats are also known to cause large intestinal cancer. Now, if we see these factors can be easily prevented, they can easily be changed in your lifestyle. How? By stopping alcohol and smoking, by increasing physical activity and reducing weight, and dietary changes in the form of avoiding red meat and processed meat. So this is some of the ways by which few of the colon and rectal cancers can be prevented. Now going into the non-modifiable risk factors, and this is where we need to know if we have these risk factors so that we can take action to prevent as well as detect the cancer early so that it can be cured. Age greater than 50, again males have more risk than females for contracting colon and rectal cancer. Now, this is specific to colorectum. This is an area which you have not seen before in other videos, and this is because personal history of growth in colon and rectum, which was not cancerous. So, what is polyp? Polyp is a mushroom-like growth that comes from the wall of the intestine. So, if there is a personal history of a polyp or a mushroom-like growth in your previous colonoscopy, or if you are suffering from a disease called ulcerative colitis, which is chronic infection, inflammation of the large intestine. Just like you saw chronic hepatitis for liver, chronic pancreatitis for pancreas, Barrett's esophagus or longer standing esophagitis for the food pipe, similarly, ulcerative colitis or longer standing inflammation of the colon is a risk factor. Again, one another important aspect in colorectal cancer is hereditary and genetic causes of cancer. Like I said previously, familial disease is one which runs in the families. This may or may not be related to a genetic mutation, whereas hereditary cases in a family are because of genetic mutation. So this is the difference between familial and hereditary, which your counselor can explain to you in detail. However, for the sake of awareness, we should know that if there is personal history of long-standing colitis or a polyp which has been removed from the colon, or if there is family history, if people in your family suffer from polyps or colorectal cancer, you should be assessed for hereditary syndromes, that is genetic mutation. These mutations can be familial adenomatous polyposis, FAP, and HNPCC, as well as Peutz-Jeghers syndrome and MUTYH associated polyposis. So these are the different hereditary syndromes. Don't go into the difficult terminology. All this means is that if you have had a polyp excision in the colon, or if you have family members who suffer from cancers, then you should consult a doctor or a counselor to know your risk of cancer, as you become a very important screening target for the healthcare community. So the scope of prevention is by screening. The screening can be done through stool test where we estimate presence of blood in stool, which is known as FOBT or the fecal occult blood test. What this means is that you cannot see blood in the stools, but blood may be present. That is why it is known as occult blood. Occult means hidden. Fecal means stool. So it is stool occult blood test. Other test is an endoscopy, which all of you know. Pass a camera through the anal canal to look for disease in the colon. Counseling, as I mentioned, for hereditary causes so that you can undergo genetic analysis, which is now present. And if you have diseases like long-standing colitis, surgery for patients who are suffering from this colitis for more than 20 to 30 years is also an option as a form of prophylaxis, that is removing the colon and rectum before cancer develops. So that is also a means of early detection and curing the disease at a very early stage. So once you see these risk factors, the first question in your mind will be, how do you know if you want to undergo these screening guidelines? So let us now see that. So a common question that you may have in mind is, when should you approach a doctor for this kind of screening for colorectal cancer or genetic counseling? A point is, if your family has more than three people with cancer, and this means any cancer in the body, if you have more than three people with cancer. Second is, if you have a person with cancer at a young age, for example, colorectal cancer at age less than 50. Third is, if you have had a history of cancer and now you have another cancer. This is sad and unfortunate, but if this kind of situation arises, then this is again a condition where you should approach a doctor, discuss your family history, and if appropriate, get enrolled for screening program. Again, if you have had polyps at a young age, you should go for a genetic counseling as well as a screening and get a personalized plan of surveillance for colon and rectal cancer for yourself. Ulcerative colitis patients, as I already discussed, should be on screening and surveillance, and prophylactic surgery, that is removal of the colon and rectum if appropriate for your disease condition. Again, no such history, but if your age is more than 45 to 50 years of age, USA medical recommendations suggest that you should undergo screening once every year for the stool blood test, and 5 to 10 years, once every 5 to 10 years, you should undergo a scopy. This is as per the United States screening guidelines for colon and rectum. So, to not get into very much of details, if you have a significant family history of any cancer in a young person who is related to you by blood, or if you have a lot of people with cancer in your family, or you have had polyps removed, or you have had ulcerative colitis, you should meet your doctor or a genetic counselor and consider or be aware of the different tests that you can undergo to detect the cancer early. As I have explained, fecal occult blood test every year and colonoscopy every 10 years. This is for people who do not have any history as seen in the above 2 points. So now, if you don't have these risk factors and you have taken lifestyle measures to prevent cancer, you should be aware of symptoms which make you suspect colorectal disease. As this is the evacuation point, we can understand that the symptoms will be in the form of changes in bowel habits or changes in habits of passing stools in the morning. So if you have fresh or altered blood in stools, or blood is passed as stools per rectum, if you have a sensation of incomplete evacuation, that is, if you need to go to washroom again and again, feeling that you are not evacuated completely, this is a sign of rectal disease. Not always cancer, but a sign of rectal disease. Alteration in bowel habits. Most of the patients usually have blood in stools, blood passage per rectum, and alternation of diarrhea and constipation. So few days with diarrhea, few days with constipation, and passage of ribbon-like stools. This is again a feature suggestive of colorectal disease, predominantly rectal disease. As I have said, for any cancer, loss of appetite and unintentional weight loss are red flag signs. Crampy abdominal pain can occur if the tumor is growing in size. A lump can be palpable in abdomen, but this is usually a late sign or symptom. This is very important because weakness, lethargy, and fatigue suggest low hemoglobin. What that suggests is that you are losing blood somewhere in stool, which may not be visible, which is occult. And this kind of blood loss in elderly, especially in males, should be evaluated for colorectal cancer. Because what are the preventive strategies for colorectal cancer? As we have discussed, lifestyle, weight control, reduce weight, exercise 30 minutes a day and more than 250 minutes in a week, quit alcohol and smoking, treat diabetes and control obesity, and a detailed diet recommendation would be increase whole grains and high fiber diet, fresh vegetables and fruits in diet rather than processed vegetables or fruits. Dairy products can be consumed, and calcium and vitamin D supplementation has also been shown to help against colorectal cancer. There are anecdotal reports of aspirin as a tablet to show protective effect against colorectal cancer, but this has not been proven in studies, as well as aspirin has its own risks and hence we don't advise it. So these dietary recommendations and lifestyle changes are important. If you have family history and personal history, and this I am stressing predominantly in colon, rectum, and pancreatic cancer. If you have this history, undergo screening, which includes a stool test, an endoscopy, and a genetic counseling. So, how to identify issues early? Apart from prevention, if you get any of the symptoms as mentioned, meet your doctor as soon as possible. And long-standing bowel disease patients should undergo awareness and education. So share this video to your colleagues, your friends, your family members so that all of them are aware regarding this condition. Have a regular follow-up with your doctor. Screening, as I have described, you can undergo an endoscopy, CEA blood test, stool test, and this is how you can prevent colorectal cancer or at least detect it early. So I hope you enjoyed this cancer awareness series. If you have seen all our videos, it's around more than 2 hours of awareness and education directed to all of you so that we can all be aware, we can all educate each other, we can identify these diseases, meet our doctor so that we can reduce the deaths as well as the sufferings due to cancer in our community. Thank you.